Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, we are going to talk about one of the most discussed topics in the technology world, generative AI. So we'll look at generative AI, what it is, the different technology providers, how it works, and what are the capabilities of generative AI. So this is more like an overview video of Gen AI. I'm Lahiru Fernando. I'm a 5 times UiPath MVP, a certified solution architect, a UiPath certified AI professional. If you have not subscribed to my channel, click on the subscribe button and get notified about the latest videos on different topics such as document understanding, communications mining, AI, and generative AI. You can also connect with me on my WhatsApp community. Take your mobile phone, scan this QR code, and join the group, and we can talk about these topics in more detail. Let's get started by getting a quick understanding about what generative AI is. So, when we talk about generative AI, it's actually a part of artificial intelligence technology. You can actually call it as a subset of AI because AI, when you talk about AI, it has a lot of different areas like machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, and so many things. So Gen AI comes as a part of this, and the difference here is Gen AI can actually produce content from its knowledge. So, what kind of content can it create? It can create text, images, videos, audio, or even code that we use to develop software applications. So basically, how this work? It works like this. So you can train these Gen AI models with a large amounts of data, maybe images, maybe text, and with this information, it will try to understand different patterns in this data, and it will use those patterns to create a new content based on some information provided to these models. So it uses different advanced technologies that we have within AI to generate these things and enable this capability for us. So basically, in very simple terms, when you give a prompt, it will use the existing knowledge that it has been trained on, and it will also use the extra context if you have given along with the prompt and the instructions, and it will generate accurate responses based on that. So these are some examples that it can do. It can generate text, and this capability you can use to write blogs, emails, and articles, even books. So whatever that you have in mind that you can do with text, you can use this capability by providing proper instructions and context. It can help you to generate nice content based on this. Same applies for images. So the concept behind images is if once you provide some information about what kind of image that you want to create, it will use its pre-trained information based on images and create this new image for you. So these images can be fictional, it can be related to the real world objects and so on. So it depends on what you need. But how it works in the background is this is a little bit of extra knowledge. So how these models are trained is like when you provide an image, it will try to introduce noise on top of that image. So if you add an image of a cat, for example, it will try to add a noise to that image, and it will try to break that image into small pixels. So that way it learns these patterns on how to create an image of a cat. So just imagine giving that information, large amounts of images of these animals, and then you can ask generate image of something, right? And then it by understanding those patterns, by breaking it into small pixels, now it can generate an image. So basically working the other way around. So that's basically how it works for images. In text, how it works is it identifies the word patterns, the text the letter patterns, how what kind of letters come in after each and every letter, just by training on large amount of text data. And then it will use this information to generate accurate words and sentences, paragraphs, and likewise. The same concept applies to audio generation, where you can use this to create different audios, music, or even videos. So these are some capabilities, examples on some capabilities it can do for us. How is this possible? So it can be done by using several technologies like machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, and natural language processing. So all these are parts of AI, and they all have their own techniques and methods that you use. So it's a combination of all these things that gives generative AI for us. So what are the different types of Gen AI models that we can see today? So when you talk about types, I'm not referring to the different models that we have seen on the internet. I'm referring to the different types of Gen AI capabilities, but this is based on the data that you provide. So for example, if you provide input as images, there are different models that you can convert these images into uh, different output patterns. Like, for example, as you see on the screen, if you provide an image, you can get a text output out of that. So basically, if you provide an image and if you ask questions on top of that, like what kind of objects do you see there, what are the information that you see, if you can search for a specific object in that image to see if it exists. So those kind of stuff can be generated to you as text. So when you give an input, you get an output as text. Like you can do question and answer, image captioning, image search, those kind of things using text. And likewise, you can give an image and you can also generate another image based on that. So this is something that I have seen in editing images, where you can actually remove certain objects and improve the resolution, add certain objects to the image. Like for example, let's say you capture a photo and you want to add some objects to it, like some people in that image. So you can use Gen AI to add those add those objects to the image and generate a new image out of that. The same thing can be used to create animation. So that's one type of a Gen AI, where you provide images and you get different types of output. The other type is you provide text as input and you generate a different types of output, like text, images, and audio. So in text, you might have already explored this already. Like you can, if you provide text, you can do translation, language detection, summarizing, question answer, context generation. So when I say context generation, it's like you provide some information and you generate new content out of that. Um, and likewise, you can provide a text and create an image or a video based on your description. And this can also be applied for audio creation. So that is another type. And this is purely based on data. So we have different machine learning, the different foundation models that actually power these capabilities. We call it large language models or image specific models. There are so many models out there today that can give you all these capabilities. So we need to find ways to identify which model is the best suitable one for our use case. That topic is not a part of this video, but we will be discussing some of those things as we go. But those are some things that you can think about. And who are the people or who are the companies who provide these capabilities for us? So if you look at all these LLMs that we work today, there are hundreds and thousands of LLMs out there. But I have mentioned a very few here, but it's not limited to these companies, but they are some of the companies that provide all those popular language models like Azure OpenAI that comes from Microsoft, and Google has their own um, Gen AI capabilities that comes with embedded into Google search as well, which is Gemini and then few other things. And even with Microsoft, you have the Microsoft Copilot that comes in as a part of your Windows installation. And the Meta provides Llama, the LLM that you can use to generate text related content. And we all know OpenAI, they have GPT-4o, which is the latest one that has a lot of capabilities. And Claude is another LLM. They have their different versions. I'm not going into those details, but Anthropic provides that. And Mistral also has their own LLMs that you can use for different purposes. These models have their own capabilities, strengths, and weaknesses. So we need to see which one works the best for our use case and try to use that one. This is another part that I want to discuss. Like, you have all these different models by different companies, but um, when you look at Gen AI solution development, we need to also look at few other things. Like LLM, the model itself is just one part of the whole equation. But for you to provide solutions using generative AI, yes, you need to have the model. But in addition to that, you need to have certain other components to provide a better solution. So different companies like Microsoft, Google, AWS, and UiPath, they have their own platform that allows using these Gen AI models along with the other components within the platform to provide better solutions for customer needs. So with Microsoft, they have their different platforms on different components on Azure. With Google, they have the Google Cloud, which is the Vertex AI that you can use to build these kind of solutions. Same with AWS. And since we all are coming from the RPS side, I included UiPath here because in UiPath, we also have different capabilities that was already there to process documents, to do communications mining, and along with this, they have also embedded Gen AI capabilities into their platform to perform different stuff. So, for example, in UiPath, where do we see Gen AI capabilities? We can use it for test automation. Also, if you look at the studio, web studio or the desktop version, you can use Gen AI to create workflows, and you can use Gen AI to improve your expression. So basically, there is a place where you can type what you want, and it will generate that expression for you. So those kind of capabilities are inbuilt to the platform. And on the other side, where we can use Gen AI is we can use Gen AI for document processing. So in document understanding, in UiPath, you have this generative AI capabilities to classify and extract document data. So there are so many capabilities coming up along with this, and the one of the new things that are in discussion is that we already seen are the Gen AI activities that they introduced, where you can use generative AI capabilities to perform some of the stuff that we already discussed, like summarizing, email generation, and so on. So those are some capabilities that we talk about today, even within automation, but also as a overall thing. So not just UI, but other companies also do have it, but those are some of the areas where UiPath use GenAI. So how does this work? I'm going to explain this in very high level. We'll see all these things in more detail as we go on in different videos. So basically, for a large language model to provide content, it needs to have some information. So who is going to give you this information is you. So basically, you need to tell the model and instruct the model like what exactly you want to do and how you want to do it. And maybe you also need to provide some context to generate the new data. So basically, this is called providing a prompt. Um, so these prompts can basically include like information like generate an email response for the following email, and then you attach the email there. Or you can say summarize the following document and attach the document or a piece of text that is coming out of that document. So those are some examples. So we call this a prompt. In a prompt, there are different components. You can have the message that you want to do, you can have a set of instructions, and you can also have a set of context. Context is the extra data that the model can use to generate a proper response for you. So we'll talk more detail about prompt and prompt engineering in future videos. And when you provide this information to a large language model that can come from different providers, might be Microsoft, OpenAI, any platform, they work in the same way. So you need to provide this information and it will use that data to generate the content for you. So these models can be the model that you get as it is, or these models could be some pre-trained or fine-tuned models that are very specific to your business case. So basically, those are trained on your own data. So either way, it works the same. And once you generate the response, it could be generated text responses, maybe code or images or videos, whatever the option that you want to use. How does this all work? This works with prompt engineering. So we need to understand how to write a proper prompt, not like how we chat with people. That's different compared to prompting. So in a prompt, for you to give proper instructions and generate quality responses, you need to write it in a proper way. And this is an art which is called as prompt engineering. So all these things get applied when you work with Gen AI and large language models to provide accurate and quality information. So this is the base that you need to know to get started with generative AI. But this is not everything. There are so many other things that we need to look at and explore when providing Gen AI solutions. Um, and also trying to see how it works on your own data, because as of now these models are trained on large amount of data. But if you want to use your own data on this, there are different concepts that we can use. But for now, this is the base, and I hope this is helpful, and we'll see you in few other videos that talks about more advanced topics around generative AI and how it can be used within UiPath. So that's it. And if you have any questions, concerns, feel free to write to me on WhatsApp or put it in the comment section and I will reply to you. So with that, I'll stop for now. Have a good day and I'll see you soon.